This is Gene Montrestell, and welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast, recorded live to tape from Williamsburg in Brooklyn. This is episode 437, originally aired December 14th, 2011, re-edited and remastered for March 9th, 2020. Hi everyone, I hope this finds you well wherever you are and whatever time of day you're getting a chance to listen to this. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Today we have a conversation about words. I get lots of questions in my inbox about the words that we are supposed to use when we are tapping. And so here is a conversation about how we think about the words when we are tapping. Just wanted to take a few moments today to talk about words. I get asked all the time by clients, do I need to say the phrases out loud? How important is it that I say the phrases out loud? And I think most of the resistance to that is, tapping is odd enough as it is, but when we're sitting off by ourselves and we're saying things out loud, we can feel a little self-conscious. Or if we're in a public place and we're tapping, we look weird enough tapping and then we start mumbling along with it. We can feel really self-conscious. And so oftentimes I advise clients that it's okay that you can say the phrases in your head. You don't actually have to say them out loud. Because it's important to remember what's important is our focus, not the words that we're saying. The words, saying them out loud or thinking them in our head, is a tool to help us to get specific, because all of us good tappers know the more specific we are, the faster we're going to find relief. But oftentimes when I give this advice, I feel like I'm letting people off of the hook. And they're like, okay, I don't have to come up with phrases anymore, and I'll just tap and think of my anxiety or my frustration. And that's useful, but the words themselves become a really powerful tool because they help us to tune in. And the more we're tuned in, the more relief we have. And to take something and to give it specific words and specific vocabulary requires thought and concentration. For example, you could say to me, I have a headache. But when you say I have a headache, do you mean that it's pounding? Is it aching? Is it pulsing? Is it radiating? Does it feel like it's a vice that's pushing in on the sides? Is it the top of the head, the side of the head, the forehead, behind the eyes? That headache is a term that tunes us in a little bit, but it doesn't tune us all the way in. And so when we start to give it words, really specific words of description, we're moving it from this pain and ache in a certain part of my body, and I'm getting more specific and I'm tuning in to it. Therefore, when I'm tapping, I'm going to be more specific. And therefore, coming up with specific words becomes really important because it's not that the words are magic, but it's a tool to ensure that we're staying focused. And so it's really important that we come up with words. When I teach the anger management class in the county jail, one of the things I always have the guys do before they tap is I'll ask them questions about an issue that we're working on, and I make them write out their answers on a sheet of paper. And I do this two reasons. One is I'm helping them to create a tapping script that they can tap along to later when they don't have class and they're just off on their own. But the second is it's forcing them to tune in and get really specific, because to go from an idea in my head to words in the page takes a lot of understanding and inward reflection to really specifically think about what's going on. And so in a circumstance like that, the words are super, super, super important because they're helping us to focus. So you have my permission, not that you needed it, but you have my permission not to say words out loud when you're tapping. But if you're going to make sure you're really tuning in as specifically as possible, you need to actually formulate sentences and words to describe what's happening, what you're feeling, what you're worried about, what you're hoping for. And if you do that, what it's going to do is it's going to help you to tune in and be more specific, which is going to lead you to relief a lot faster. I hope you found that useful. It's pretty straightforward. If you have any questions or feedback on that, I would love to hear from you. I can always be reached directly, Gene, Gene, at tappingqa.com. If you're on the website, just click on that contact link. And if you know someone in your life who is exploring tapping and trying to do it more efficiently, please be our ambassador and pass this along. Don't spam your inbox, but if you know someone in your life who would appreciate this reflection so they can get more out of their tapping, it would mean the world to me if you passed it along to them. If you haven't done so already, I would encourage you to subscribe to the podcast. In podcasting parlance, subscribe is always free. You can subscribe to the show in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Stitcher, Luminary, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Radio.com. Basically, anywhere you listen to audio, you can subscribe to the show. And in some cases, they don't use the word subscribe, they use the word follow. It means the exact same thing. So if you subscribe or follow every single time a new episode comes out, you will receive a download or be notified so you don't miss any of the great information. For the Tapping Q&A podcast, this is Gene Montrastelli. I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you real soon. Bye-bye. The Tapping Q&A podcast is copyright Gene Montrastelli Tapping Q&A. All views expressed by guests are those of the guests and not necessarily of Gene Montrastelli and Tapping Q&A.